it's just this misconception that you need to be on the go all the time.
100%.
You need to be stressed. You need to be under the pump.
Yeah.
You need to hustle. But it's like, yeah, you're doing that. And yeah, you're doing good things. Awesome.
100%.
But imagine if you were doing less, but with with more brain capacity, with more energy, and with more thought.
With a plan in mind.
With a plan.
100%.
Imagine how much more you can achieve. Hey guys, welcome to the Happy Way podcast, your go-to place for all things fun, happiness, well-being, growth, trust, and diversity. I am your host, Melissa Fideli, and I am here to inspire and connect everyone who chooses health and happiness so you can be your healthiest self and live life the happy way. Welcome back, everyone. On today's episode, we have clinical nutritionist and personal trainer, Danielle Bulian from the House of Holistic Health. Danielle helps women balance their hormones and gain optimal health so they can feel their best from the inside out. Today, we are going to not just be talking about hormone health, but a personal health story that Dani experienced. Danielle's journey through natural health has not always been so straightforward. In recent years, she has been recovering from breast implant illness and had to undergo an explant which significantly improved her health. After years of not knowing what was wrong with her and not being able to get a diagnosis or any answers from multiple doctors, Danielle took matters into her own hands. So let's get into everything because this is an awesome story and I'm excited to have you on.
I'm excited too.
Yay, welcome. So to kick things off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your clinical consultations, and why you feel so passionately about helping women?
Yes. So basically, long story short, I think I've always been passionate about nutrition, even throughout high school. I always studied nutrition. I always was into eating healthy, and there was always something that kind of ignited the fire within me that, led me to this passion per se. And when I had finished high school, I went directly into nutrition and dietetics and I loved it. And it was one time that I was studying, I remember in the library, and I thought, you know what? I want to look up personal training and I really want to do something else to, support further knowledge and whatnot. So I enrolled in personal training and I really have not looked back since. So it's been 8 years now. And I think over the years, it's kind of led me into the women's health perspective over watching the fitness industry change from, that bodybuilding, very masculine, very women belong just, on the treadmills to now women engaging in, I guess everything. Weight training. Everything. And we're talking so much more openly now about the menstrual cycle, about women's hormones, about everything. So it's just been phenomenal to see, I guess, over time. And I guess that kind of led me into clinical nutrition in conjunction with the health issues that I went to. So I actually transitioned from nutrition dietetics to nutrition dietetic medicine. And I think the natural health perspective is something that really, really helped me heal from within, and especially to do with the whole explant and the breast implant illness. So that's been huge. It's been a very interesting journey, so to say, and a lot of research and, self-development, but it's,
I bet one you're grateful for because now you can help so many people.
100%.
So let's talk about your life-changing explant. As I mentioned in the introduction, you struggled with symptoms for years, but you never really got any answers and you never knew what the hell was going on.
No.
So talk to us about those symptoms. What was going on for you and when did you know something wasn't quite right?
Look, I guess, you don't really think about things straight away, but getting breast implants to begin with is actually a surgery. You know what I mean? So there's always, I'm not going to say complications with the surgery, but you have to recover from a surgery. You know what I mean? You're put under, you're taking antibiotics and, it's not a simple road. So I think you're dealing with that. And then on top of that, you're dealing with a whole lot of silicon and heavy metals implanted into your body, I guess, and from an aesthetic perspective, great. You don't even think about any of the health outcomes when you implant. So I guess it wasn't straight away for me. I think now looking back, I think I started to see small bouts of health changes about 6 months in.
Wow. So Can I just ask, how many years did this span over?
So it spanned over, so it was 5 years that I had.
Years.
Yeah,
Wow.
5 years I had the breast implants.
Yeah, okay.
But things kind of went really sour about year 2. So 2 to 3. So that's when autoimmune started, but we'll get into that. But I think it was about 6 months before I noticed like the first kind of symptoms, which were, I guess vertigo, dizziness, kind of like your daily kind of headaches, kind of like your daily kind of take a medication, don't worry about it kind of symptoms. And you wouldn't really link the two just yet. So, and I do remember visiting doctors and they kind of push it to the side, blaming birth control, like Implant and blaming stress, blaming, things. So I never put two and two together.
Absolutely not. Especially when you've got health professionals telling you otherwise.
100%. 100%. So you don't really link the two, So that's kind of where it started,
Wow, that's pretty soon into having them.
Yeah.
Far out.
Yeah.
So how did you actually come to the conclusion that you had breast implant illness? Because like you said, you couldn't really get answers and everyone kept pushing it to the side. And you even said yourself like you wouldn't really link the two. So
not at all.
How did that conclusion happen?
So I guess from the 6 months onwards, things kind of started to get worse. You know what I mean? We started to see hormonal issues, skin issues, and things started just compounding kind of to the point where I got kind of 2 years in and I was like, okay, now I'm ready to do a fat loss, blah, blah, blah. I was in the fitness industry. It was just kind of, what I wanted to do. And nothing budged. In fact, things went the other way and I started to get worse. I started to gain weight and my skin just went horrible. I was just fatigued all the time. I couldn't even recover from workouts. And that's really kind of, embarrassing to say as a personal trainer. I couldn't even train to the extent of what I used to because I literally couldn't recover from them. I felt flu symptoms all the time. So it was almost like if I had pushed myself too hard, I would almost get, when you feel like the flu's coming on, like all your glands are up. That was like a real common occurrence right until I explanted. But it was that 2 year in kind of point where I was like, okay, I'm going to get bloods done and I'm going to see what's going on. And I saw an integrative doctor and he, funnily enough, actually did all the bloods but actually mentioned breast implants. But I kind of was like, no, I kind of shunned it and I was like, no, I'm not listening to this right now. This is not what I want to hear.
Did you do that because you just didn't want to hear it? Because that was part of your aesthetic and you liked that? Or did you not want to hear it because you're like, no, that's not even a thing?
Kind of both.
Yeah.
And it was funny because he actually used to work with a lot of women in surgery, removing breast implants. And they were like the old implants from back in the day when they used to literally pour into the chest wall without going too much into things. Yeah. But long story short, he did all my bloods and he actually found autoimmune disease. Wow. So when you're 24 and you've got these progressive symptoms, you know that something's not right. So so if it wasn't for him and, starting to kind of compound these symptoms together, I kind of wouldn't have known it was that. Yeah. But it wasn't till the turning point where I found this girl on Instagram and I went on her profile and she posted about her explant. And this was probably, I think it might have been actually in 2019. So this was 3 or 4 years in and she posted her journey completely and an hour video on YouTube about all her symptoms disappearing after she explanted. And it was I just sat there crying because I was like, oh my God, this is what it is. What else could it be? I'm living so clean, organic. I was doing everything. Yeah. And you know what it's like.
Yeah, exactly. And I know because I know you and I know what you're like and I see how you eat and how you move and how you're mindful. And I'm like, she's doing everything right. How could all these symptoms be presenting? So,
doesn't make sense. Yeah, so that was kind of the turning point. And
that
then
was
from
like
there,
the light bulb moment.
That was the light bulb moment and research kind of happened from there. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So once you had the surgery, literally within 24 hours of your explant, your brain fog lifted, the colour in your face and eyes completely changed. You could finally breathe deeply and no longer had any joint pain. Yeah. This was all within 24 hours.
Yes.
So, that's crazy.
It's insane.
What were the weeks and the days like after that and how has your health changed overall?
Yeah, look, I had seen there's a lot of Facebook groups in regards to breast implant illness and I had seen the changes in other women that quickly and I thought that's not going to happen. Like this was, I was kind of in disbelief.
Of course.
And then I woke up the next day and I went to go look in the mirror and I was shocked at what I saw the whites of my eyes again. My skin was bright and I just felt like literally weight was lifted off my chest. Like I could breathe better. It was just phenomenal, like you mentioned.
And that's insane because when you first come out of surgery, you're pumped with drugs. So like you're not going to be feeling amazing when you first wake up. But so for you to notice, the colour in your skin, the colour in your eyes had changed significantly. Like that's insane.
It was just, it was crazy. And I guess don't get me wrong, I was in a lot of pain. It was a big surgery, but weeks, months, following that, I continued to get better. And don't get me wrong, it does take time to heal.
Absolutely.
I would say, a good year. I think now I'm almost 2 years post-op and I'm probably at my healthiest I've been.
Yeah.
But it does take time and it does take work, but oh my God, it's so worth it.
Wow.
It's just fixing the gut, fixing the hormones and these things take time.
Of course. Yeah.
But it really is that process of repair and detox. But you've gotten rid of what I thought was the root cause. It's crazy. The body wants to heal.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. What about your autoimmune?
Yes. So pretty much I have to get my bloods done again in another month, but I'm pretty much in remission now.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just crazy. I was put on medication back then and I was told that I couldn't fix it. And it just,
Oh, my goodness.
It's crazy. It's just nuts. So it just proves that I was so determined to find the answer and I thought, I'm not going to stop till I do.
So what do you think it is about the breast implants? What do you think it causes all these health issues?
Look, I mean, for some women, they don't react. And I think it really just depends on many reasons, like a biochemical level. It depends how their body really deals with the implant. But the implant itself is silicon, and it's filled with heavy metals. And putting something like that above your vital organs for such a long amount of time, your body tries to break it down. When my implants came out, they were yellow. They went in white.
Wow.
Yeah. So even the surgeon was like, that's serum exchange, which means the body's breaking it down. So, I think it's the stress that the implants put on the body that really, kind of causes the cascade of events that follow. Okay. I don't think it's, it might not be this case for everyone, but I do think they're a ticking time bomb. I mean, they recommend to change them every 10 years. Why, if they're safe? Yeah, what are they doing to the body? So,
Wow.
It's crazy.
Interesting. So aside from the illness and obviously the incredible journey back to health post-explant, how did you adjust to not actually having the implants from more of an aesthetic point of view? Because it does become your identity. And, hey, they're bloody great to look at.
Of course.
How did you adjust to that after? Because obviously you wanted them for a reason.
Of course.
So how did you go afterwards?
So afterwards, I guess it was an adjustment, but I think I was so ready to be healthy and I just focused on what I was going to gain rather than what I was losing.
Yeah.
And you're right, it is an aesthetic journey and most women in the first place get it for aesthetics. I mean, I got it for aesthetics. It was a fitness industry thing. It was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess I'd never felt so authentic getting rid of them essentially because now I was authentically me and I could train again. I didn't have to worry about, damaging anything or, things being in the way or, I think I was just so focused on the health outcome that it didn't worry me as much,
Yeah.
So I guess maybe for some, and I know I've spoken to some women that it's a really big thing and I totally understand that, you know what I mean? It's a really, really personal decision as to why people get breast implants in the first place.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a personal decision to remove them as well.
Course.
So I think, focusing on the health outcomes and your body just changes. You'd be surprised how accepting you can become of your body when you just truly learn to just be and just, accept the change and, focus on good health. Yeah. There's nothing better than feeling like I can think again and have energy again and,
I know. I guess you wouldn't even think about that,
right?
From where you were from having all of those health issues.
Yep.
That would be the last thing on your
Literally.
mind. You would be so caught up in the amazing feelings of health
100%.
and feeling normal and feeling like you said, that you can think clearer and you don't have to take medication.
No.
The others
100%.
wouldn't really be much of a concern at all.
Nah, not at all. I think, being able to live life normally again and not have to worry about am I going to be run down? Am I going to be able to book that client in because I don't know how I'm going to feel, you know?
Yeah,
So
wow.
it got to that extent. So
Wow.
it's crazy.
So now that we've talked about the explant,
Mm-hmm.
I would love to move on to hormone health, as this is what you help lots of women with
Yes.
in clinic. And obviously throughout your journey, you would have had to learn so much, especially after the explant. You would have had to rebalance all of your hormones,
Yes.
everything. So firstly, how did the explant and the breast implants actually affect your hormone levels, and how do we go about balancing them?
The biggest thing that I saw or that I felt was the effect on my thyroid because the autoimmune disease that I had was Hashimoto's. So it was of the thyroid.
Yep.
So I think I'm not saying that was the first issue that it caused, but that was one of many.
Yeah.
And we know that the thyroid governs a lot of things. It governs, you know, the menstrual cycle. It governs your body temperature. It governs it governs a lot in the body. So you really do feel the change. So I think after removing, it did take a bit of time up until now to be able to balance that out because, you know, we're suffering with nutrient deficiencies and you need these vital nutrients in order for hormones to do their thing as well, you know. So it was definitely a thyroid and it was a menstrual cycle effect that I personally experienced anyway. So it was a lot of that.
So I should have asked you this question before, but for anyone listening who, you know, this is new to them, what are hormones?
Yeah.
How do they work? And why is it important to have them balanced?
So hormones essentially are a chemical messenger that are excreted into the body.
I like to refer them as little minions.
Basically, that's a really
they send all the messages around.
They do. They're our little messengers, and like you know, they work in many different ways depending on you know what their job role is essentially. So, so I guess when they govern certain things like our body temperature and like our menstrual cycle, I guess that's where we start to feel the symptom changes. If you're kind of aware of your normal and your normal does change, we know that we can have imbalances and they do present as signs and symptoms. Obviously variable depending on the person. For me, it was a lot of acne and it was a lot of digestive issues and late periods, early periods, heavy periods, you know, all of those painful periods.
All the above.
All of the above. So you can get all these signs and symptoms and unfortunately sometimes they're kind of just told, oh, yeah, that's normal. Just, you know, women are meant to get painful periods and heavy periods. It's,
right.
you know, but it's not normal. It's actually a sign of something deeper. So, So I think we can kind of create that connection when we move away from or we deviate away from our normal when it comes to hormones. So
we spoke about thyroid a little bit, but how does your thyroid health and your gut health impact your hormone levels and how can we really nourish these areas of health?
Well, I mean, when we're talking gut health, it's such a spoken about topic now, isn't it?
Yes, it's such a hot topic.
Such a hot topic, such a buzzword.
Buzzword.
But really, I mean, when we talk about the gut, when we talk about gut health, we talk about digestion. And the more stress the body has, the more it's going to affect digestion. And then digestion really is your way that we get nutrients. And if we're not getting these nutrients and cofactors, the body can't do what it wants to do efficiently. And I guess that kind of translates to other areas like the thyroid. And we need zinc, selenium and iodine for the thyroid. We need certain nutrients for the liver and all of that kind of stuff. So I think if we can, focus on fixing the gut and then that will then translate to the thyroid. And I think that's what I experienced with my own healing journey, you know, being able to kind of get things working again within the gut really led to, you know, the thyroid being nourished again. And I think it's never the thyroid first. I feel like the thyroid comes after. I feel like it's a bit of a...
It's like a chain reaction.
It is like a chain. It's like a bit of a chain reaction, you know. If we're not really nourishing the thyroid, then the thyroid slows down. If we're not eating enough, which is massive, as you would know with females, the thyroid slows down and we try to conserve the energy. So I really do think things, it starts in the gut.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
so what are some things we can do every day to nourish our gut? What are some basic little tips and nutritionist approved tips that we could do?
I guess I like to start kind of with lifestyle factors as well as food, but I think we live in such a stressful world.
Absolutely.
From when we wake up to when we go to sleep, we're not sleeping enough, we're not getting sleep quality, we're constantly surrounded by blue light. You know what I mean? And it's just affecting us. So I think if we can focus on stress, you know what I mean, and really start to get that stress management in, which is I know something that you talk about a lot as well.
Yeah, I love that
meditation
area. Stress, all of that.
Stress management. And again, like a lot of people talk about it, but are we actually doing these practices?
Yes,
you
exactly.
know, so
make it a priority.
100%. So that's going to translate to your digestion and gut health as well. Because if you're stressed, you're not digesting. You know, you're in fight or flight. You're not in rest and digest. So that's a start. Sleeping properly, ensuring you have enough water, filtered water. Like don't grab coffee first, grab water first.
Yep, that's it. Simple little things, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's so funny because you probably see this as well.
Yeah.
But when I get a client in clinic, you know, your initial appointment and you're discussing, say it is gut health. And you give them a treatment plan and it lists, you know, 3 things that they need to start with. And those 3 things are so simple.
So simple.
And they're like, what do you mean? Like, is this all I have to do? But then they actually, you know, they start drinking 2 liters of water a day. They start getting 8 hours of sleep. You know, they start actually doing meditation once a day for 10 minutes. And then when I see them again in 2 weeks, they're like, their mood has changed, their digestion has changed, they're going to the bathroom more regularly, you know, they're not as lethargic as they used to be. And it's like that literally is all, like you start with those basic lifestyle factors that simple. You have just said, and it can actually make a world of difference. And then from 100%. There, you have the energy to make dietary changes.
Exactly.
You have the motivation to take your supplements.
Exactly.
You feel ready and energized to go to the gym, you know, and it all starts with simple things, the lifestyle factors, and makes a huge difference. But I think people expect everything to be so complicated and so hard. You know, if I want to lose weight, if I want to be happier, if I want to be healthier, it's got to be hard.
100%.
It doesn't have to be hard.
It doesn't.
And it actually isn't hard.
It doesn't.
You know, it doesn't need to be like that. It's all of these small little things every day that actually improve your health. And you would know that firsthand from 100%. Going on your journey. And like you said, it takes a long time because it's about adopting small habits every day.
It's a lifestyle.
Exactly. It's not a 2-week, 3-week, 4-week diet. It's a lifestyle.
Commitment. It's a commitment.
It's a new way of living.
It is. It is. And if not now, then when? You know what I mean? Years to come when we do experience chronic disease. Do you know what I mean?
And then it's too late. And then I always, you know, people want to get fixed and be healthy straight away. But it's like, how many years did it take for you to get into this chronic
100%.
You know, illness?
100%.
How many years? It's going to take just as many years to undo it
100%.
Because you need to do it slowly and gently and carefully. 100%. And people are like, what do you mean I'm not going to be better tomorrow if I take this tablet? You know, it's 100%. Like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and we can't just, yes, we have the ability to, I guess, prescribe.
Yes. Yep.
However, we don't want to always be doing that.
No.
You know,
I mean, I don't know about you, but I suck at taking supplements.
Well, I mean, I'm somewhat regimented, but still.
Good. Yeah, but
that means nothing if you're not doing everything else.
If you're not eating healthy, if you're not nourishing, if you're not reducing stress, your body can't even absorb all these supplements you're spending all this money on.
100%.
So get the basics right and then add in all the good things, you know. But yes, I think we got off topic there. We're both clearly very passionate about this. Yeah, we're like, oh, this is so what fiery.
But it's true. It's true.
Very true.
It starts with the basics.
It does.
It does.
So when it comes to what we're eating on a daily basis, what foods and nutrients best support our health and our hormone health? So, you know, let's say, what's one thing I can add to my breakfast? What's one thing I can have in my dinner? You know, what's a great little snack that's going to give my hormones what it needs? What are the nutrients? What are the foods? What can I nourish my body with?
I guess when it comes to this kind of stuff, we want to kind of keep it simple.
Yeah.
With no 2 people are the same. You
Absolutely
know this.
Not.
But I guess, you know, when it comes to hormones, we need enough healthy fats. And I don't think we're getting enough.
No.
Especially omega-3s. I think we kind of eat a lot more inflammatory fats than we do actually healthier fats. So I think if there's one change that we can make, it's going to be including those healthier fats, like the oily fish, the avocados, the nuts and seeds, the olive oils and stuff like that, because we need them as precursors. And if we don't have them as precursors, you know, we're having all this inflammatory.
Yeah.
We're having all this inflammatory and processed food.
Yeah.
And it's causing inflammation in the gut. So, I think it's a really good start to be able to get those healthy fats in, along with fiber, complex carbohydrates. And you know what? Eating breakfast is another phenomenal way. Eating breakfast and eating enough.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a few things, but if I were to say one thing when it comes to hormones, it's 100% healthy fats.
Yeah. Amazing.
For sure.
Yep. Yeah. So I know we did touch on stress, but how does stress actually contribute to unbalancing your hormones?
Yeah.
So, when we are really stressed, what are some of the impacts it can have on our hormones?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we spoke about previously, it directly impacts digestion. So, it governs the rest and digest. And again, if we're not in rest and digest, we're not digesting, assimilating nutrients, and some people that stress that they're just chronically running to the toilet, you know what I mean? And where are these nutrients going?
Yeah.
Team that with coffee, team that with, things that affect nutrient absorption and really, stress impacts digestion. And I think that's where it starts. Yeah. And then it causes the cascade, like we said before. And especially when it comes to women's hormones, stress and estrogen, progesterone and the balance. I mean, how many people do we see with estrogen dominance, and cortisol stealing that progesterone, you know what I mean? So we're not getting enough of that progesterone because, in my opinion, I think we are chronically stressed.
I agree. We live in such a crazy world, and everyone reckons that they've got to be stressed to be successful, and it's
the hustle.
just the hustle, and it's just like, oh, please.
100%.
You can't be successful when you're not your healthy, vibrant self.
I couldn't agree more.
I
couldn't agree more.
I feel like it's just this misconception that you need to be on the go all the time. 100%. You need to be stressed. You need to be under the pump. You need to hustle. But it's like, you're doing that, and you're doing good things. Awesome.
100%.
But imagine if you were doing less, but with with more brain capacity, with more energy, and with more thought,
with a plan in mind.
With a plan,
100%.
Imagine how much more you can achieve,
and you can
by looking after yourself first, and then giving out all your energy, whatever you've got left, to your work and to your lifestyle and to everything
100%.
else.
And enjoy the process.
Yes. Yeah.
This hustle game, and I don't know if it's just social media. There's a lot of hustle, and I know us women, we're hustling now. We're doing that, but we've got to look after our hormones because burnout's real.
Yeah, and before we actually started this episode, we were talking about this, and we were saying, we have both started our own businesses outside of here. Yeah. And you hustle, you start your business, and all you want is 1 million clients. All you want is to get as many people to see your business, and all you want to do is market and get everything out there.
100%.
But what I was saying to Dani was, I did this and I gained lots of clients and it was going really well. Yeah. But then I had to stop because I was so burnt out and I was so exhausted. And now I feel like I'm trying to get all of those clients back, and it's twice as hard.
Of course it is.
But if I just kind of relaxed and looked after myself, put my health first,
enjoyed the process,
it would have been a slow and gradual rise, not this crazy up and down, but
it's real. It needs to be spoken about more.
Absolutely.
I think,
we need to bring more awareness to that.
We do.
Yes, of course, everyone wants to be successful and strive for the best. Absolutely. But you can still do that with looking after yourself first, because stress causes havoc on your body. It causes havoc to your mind and to your health in general. So, by reducing that stress, you can actually function at such a higher level.
100%. Thinking clearly. Like, exactly. You hit the nail on the head completely. And you can get to success. You get to success.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Just because you might not get there, as quick, you're going to get to success, and you're going to feel good about it and enjoy the process rather than burn out and then trying to bring yourself back. So we've all been there, and
we've all been
nice.
there,
It's not the nicest.
No.
It's okay.
So to finish off today, what is a final piece of advice you would like to give someone who may be listening to this and they've listened to your journey, and maybe they're experiencing some similar things, they've experienced some of those symptoms and they're not really sure what to do next, and maybe this has been a bit of a light bulb moment for them. Yeah. What would you say to that person?
Look, I know how personal it is to be on this journey, and no one can ever judge you for that. But I do think informed consent is the most important thing. I think do your research before getting them, whilst you got them. If you're thinking about getting them out, do your research, consult with many practitioners and make an informed decision for your health.
Yeah.
That might mean keeping them in for a little bit longer and then eventually getting to an explant, or it might be explanting straight away. But I think informed consent is really, really important, and doing your research, because if I had known, I perhaps would have made a different decision.
Yeah.
However, it brought me to where I am today.
Exactly. That was a journey you had to go on.
It was my journey.
Yeah.
So
beautiful.
Yeah.
So where can we find more of you? And if someone would like to book in a consultation with you to balance their hormones and feel their best, where do they do it?
So you can find me at Dani Bullion Fitness on Instagram, and at the House of Holistic Health on Instagram. And just follow the link in my bio and you'll be able to book a consultation. I do online and face-to-face in Adelaide.
Amazing.
So yeah.
And we will be putting all her handles in the show notes so you can find her easily.
Phenomenal.
Beautiful. So thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your experience, because like we said before, this isn't really something that is talked about a lot. So hearing it firsthand, hearing about your experience and your journey has been amazing. So thank you for sharing that with us today. I've loved this episode. It's been great.
Thank you for having me on the show. It's been amazing. I enjoyed every moment. So thank you.
Yay. Thank you. So that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. And I hope you have taken even just one piece of wisdom from this episode that you can apply to your life to help you grow and be a happier and healthier version of you. Please like, subscribe, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and make sure to share us on your socials. Sending lots of love to you all. Bye.
Thank you.
That was so good.